Welcome back to the studio. I'm your host, Petra-Ann Brown, and today in the studio with me on Island Money 365. Oh my goodness, guys, it's going to be awesome. We have Cheldin Barlatt Rumer.
Yes. Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here. You have no idea. I'm like a sister you don't know you have that's been stalking you and everything.
Yes. Love that.
So you have a lot going on, right? So I want to get to your bio and then start asking you the questions that you can help us, as small business entrepreneurs. And I hate that word small, but we are in terms of size, not in terms of our ideas, not in terms of all those things, but in terms of, we are. I'm a one-head show.
It's okay.
All right. So here we go. Cheldin Barlatt Rumer, an immigrant from Sierra Leone, West Africa, is a dynamic entrepreneur, devoted mother, and dedicated educator, a former Division I athlete at LaSalle University, and an adjunct professor at Temple University. By the way, my brother-in-law went there. She specialized in personal branding. We'll get to that through the interview. In 2009, Cheldin founded IG Creative, a digital agency supporting small business owners, particularly women. Hello, me, in social media, publicity, graphic design, and web development. Her experience helping a client overcome nerves for a TV appearance inspired her to create Scream Your Dream, a mission to empower individuals to confidently share their stories and promote their business. The mission led to the creation of This Is It Network, a daily digital talk show providing a platform for small business owners, industry leaders, and brand influencers. Through over 1,000 interviews, Cheldin has showcased entrepreneurial journey and celebrated the spirit of small business. Her self-funded platform and online community reflect her dedication and resilience. Cheldin also assisted guests in producing independent digital programs, instructional courses, and engaging promotions, further enhancing their businesses and personal brands. Did I do you justice?
I'm taking you on tour with me. You did me justice.
Okay, I'm there.
I love it.
I love it. You did so much. And I was like, I got to get this down.
It was perfect.
So, okay, Cheldin, Miss Rumer. Okay.
Yes.
Please share your journey into personal branding and media development. Like, what inspired you, to start this IG Creative and This Is It Network? Who told you you could do this? What happened?
I truly don't think I asked for permission. I think that that's an interesting thing. I didn't ask for permission. I think it's more of who I am than what it is that I do, right? I am a storyteller. I am that young child that talked too much. I am the one that didn't sit still in class. I'm the one that was telling stories, right? So oftentimes when we reflect on our life, whether you're the person who owns the bakery, you realize at 5, you always love to create, right? Like you realize the connection between who you are now and who you were. And I think that I was always this person. I was always somebody who wanted to be able to tell the story, to be responsible of spreading the news. And that really led me to what it is that I was doing. So when I studied communications in college and I wanted to be on television, I wanted to be in broadcasting, that tends to get derailed with the level of opportunities that are available at the time of graduation, right? Not everyone's going to be on MTV or recruited to a news station to do what it is that they think they're meant to do. So I was forced to be in marketing and ad sales and to really cut my teeth on what really created programming, right? What brands needed in order to fund television and fund events. And I needed to learn that. And though at the time it felt as if I was sacrificing or not getting to where it is that I needed to be, I now can look back on that time and realize that that was all I needed to get to where it is that I am today. And so the development of events and PR and marketing, graphic design, web design, all of those things, getting my hands dirty in all of those things led me to the place in that story that you mentioned in the bio of that client that really needed to find their voice, that really needed to tell their unique story and didn't have the words to be able to do it. I knew that I was never lacking in words and that I could lend, right? I could lend that energy to what it is that it was. So we just started practicing in the office. I started interviewing people about their small businesses before we gave them media or got them media opportunities. And I just lit up. Everything I wanted to be when I was in my youth, all the daydreaming of having my own talk show, all of that was reignited by a simple conversation I had with a client. In turn, they were engaged and given permission to find their voice, to use their voice, to tell their story about their grandmother's recipe or why they started the jewelry company. And that's when the magic happened. That's when I said, this is it. This is all I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to be able to tell stories and encourage others to do the same. And so I've been producing content ever since. It started off slow. I would interview 1 to 2 to 3 people at a time per month and to 1 to 5 people per day. And so that led us to those thousands of conversations that I've had to date and the growth of This Is It Network. Now we produce 22 digital talk shows. My digital talk show in the winter of 2025, we'll be producing 38 shows and be in a live studio. So we are building and doing and really creating these opportunities to connect people to really great stories and remarkable women to inspiring things. So yeah.
That's amazing. So were you the kid that the family rolled their eyes at like, oh, God,
100%. I am one of 4 in a West African household in which everyone has more letters behind their name than in front of their name, right? And so I am supposed to be an engineer. I'm supposed to be a lawyer. I'm supposed to be a doctor. I'm supposed to be an attorney. Instead, I'm talking to myself on Facebook. So they don't understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. But we are the first people to give the toast at the party. So at the end of the day, everybody has their place. Everybody has their place. They're warming up to it. There you
go. Yeah. I would say I'm the black sheep. I was supposed to be a doctor too. That didn't work out. So no. I was like, I can't even pronounce half of these words, people. This is not nice.
Listen, I believe that truly in the art of personal branding, I truly believe that there is something for everyone. And I believe because we want to be in media and creation and in that space, I'm going to give you your Excel sheet. I'm going to give you that operation. I'm going to give you that legal document. Have it, enjoy. I can't be selfish and be good at everything.
No.
That's rude. That's rude. So I'm going to leave something for you so you can have that. That's how I feel.
I love it. I'm going to use that next time. I love it. So what are the key elements that you believe make a strong personal brand besides your personality? What else?
And it truly, and as much as you can probably feel me through the screen and through the speakers at this moment, I don't believe you have to be an extrovert in order to have a strong personal brand. I don't believe you have to have the loud and boisterous personality that I am unapologetic about, right? In this moment, I think you need to be more strategic. It's not the volume of your voice. It's the intention of your words. It's about you being clear on who you are, what you want, and why you deserve it. It's about you knowing who you are so you can share it with the right people. So you don't have to be loud to do that. You just have to be intentional to do that. You have to be clear on who you are as a person and be honest with yourself. I think that so many people, I'm old enough to remember the phrase that everybody kind of forced down our throat of fake it till you make it, right? There was this notion of pretend to be someone else in order to get to where you want to be. And I say, absolutely not. I say, get to know who you are in this moment and share that in its most authentic self, because pretending to be someone else is exhausting.
Amen.
Right? It can only be maintained for a very short period of time. But if you get to know yourself and share who you are in this moment, you find the right people in that moment. So I think that the hardest part is really owning where you are in this space, knowing that you're not going to be there forever, but knowing that you're going to occupy this space in this moment and that you're going to be able to share where you are in this moment. I think that when I was younger, I always wanted to be somewhere else. And so I missed so many opportunities that were right in front of me, to the left and to the right, because I was always reaching up. And I think that you build your personal brand from the left and to the right, you grow with that community, as opposed to begging to be in rooms where people will be far retired by the time you get there. So that's really
I like that. I like that. I'm reading the book called The Gap and the Gain. And if you've ever read that book or heard about that book, and it's talking about measuring yourself to your ideals versus measuring yourself where you start from. And because the ideals is so far off, but if you measure where you start from, you realize that you are on the right path. You're being successful. Just, keep going.
100%. And I think that there's a notion, I'm really honing on this notion right now, of reintroducing yourself to yourself, right? And really taking the moment, because people tend to treat you as you were and not as you are, right? They tend to treat you where you started and not where you stand. And
people out changed 10 times.
10 times, right? But in their defense, have you let them know of the change? Have you told them that you have changed? Or do you assume that they have followed you the way that you have followed them, right? And I think that giving them some grace to be like, oh, let me tell you what I'm up to now. Oh, I didn't know that. Because they wouldn't have referred you for the opportunity that which you deserve, because they didn't know that you have reached that benchmark. And so our obligation, and that's what personal branding is to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves and then reintroduce ourselves to the right people. And so they are armed with the right information in order to get us closer to where it is.
Wow. I'm telling you, entrepreneurs, you're listening today. Today's the day. Today's the day. Yes, sir. Okay. So how do you balance, Ms. Rumer, the roles of CEO and executive producer while maintaining your unique brand voice? How do you do it? Please.
Well, I think that, again, it's just a sense of honesty. I think that, again, the idea of pretending to be someone else, the idea of taking on things that no longer serve me, right? I only have two hands, right? And I'm blessed to have them both. I only have two. If I'm filling them both with things that are no longer of service to me, there's not enough room for the quality that I deserve. And so oftentimes we are carrying around a lot of stuff that doesn't serve us. We're carrying around, oh, I didn't do that, or I didn't make that, or I didn't get that client, or I shoulda, woulda, coulda. I kind of, sort of, sometimes, like all of these kind of self-deprecating language we use on ourselves, right? People will start a business and be like, well, I kind of teach yoga. Girl, either you teach yoga or you don't teach yoga. You can't kind of teach yoga. Like, oh, well, I'm sort of working on a graphic design business. Either you have a JPEG or you don't have a JPEG. Like, people are not going to hire you. I always say, like, you're not going to take your car to a mechanic that can kind of fix your transmission.
No.
Or you can't fix it. So we've got to really come to understand who we are and know that people are hiring all of us. When they're hiring us, people purchase personalities and experiences, not products or services. The majority of us haven't invented the industry in which we are in. It's just the uniqueness that we are selling to the consumer that we really have to focus on. So what makes you uniquely positioned to sell the product or service? And that is the differentiating factor that you should be talking about continuously. So that's really
Yeah. I'm learning a lot from my business today. Free service right here.
It's all good. It's happy to do it.
So starting and maintaining a business, let's be honest, can be financial challenging, right? Because we have these great ideas. We want to go out and just do everything. And let's be real, you can't. You just don't have it. You're not there yet. So what financial strategies did you implement to ensure this, the sustainability, and growth of your company?
I think crawling is still forward, right? And I'm very much a person was sprinting literally and figuratively through life. Like, it was just like, I'm going to spend it all now. Well, let me tell you, Peter is sick of me. Paul's not calling me back. Like, I was done. Right? Like, there's no more money to squeeze out of any other category, any other space. So you're forced to really be scrappy. And so when you are resourceful, right, I think it's really important to know how to build how to build your website, how to do your graphic design, not so you do it forever, but so you can actually manage it when you are able to outsource it, right? And so to get your hands into everything initially, run your podcast by yourself, be able to draft your email newsletters, be able to build your websites, be able to do those things and save those resources early, not necessarily because you want to not go out with a bang, but you don't want to exhaust all of your financial resources up front and not be able to finish the race, right? And so,
Amen.
Right? It's really about creating that stamina within your budget that, believe me, is a muscle I still have to manage, right? Because there's things I want. I mean, there's things I want. And I like things to be fancy.
Yeah.
So I'm very tempted to join this and do that and buy that. But if I spread it out, if I amortize it, if I say, okay, this is this quarter, a lot of it has to do with planning. I always say, in general, it's the difference between being hungry and hangry. Right? When you're hangry, you make bad decisions about your meals. You're going into that drive-through, you're buying crazy things at the grocery store. But when you're hungry, you're meal prepping, right? So you know what it looks like. You know what you have, how much money you got, the fact that you're going to put the chicken in the freezer, the fact that you're going to make the rice, is going to spread the rice out over the week, whatever the situation is. You know that because you're dealing with it as you're hungry. When you become hangry, you start grabbing stuff and spending money you don't have. And so what I think that we all need to do is front load it and get really into that prep portion of it. Make sure we're not faking it till we make it. Make sure that we're really clear on what makes us unique. And then we're going to see what we need and see how much of that we can do ourselves. And then begin to, based on a plan, begin to outsource accordingly. That's
yes. I love that because I need to fire myself from a lot of things. I want to be fired.
100%. 100%. October 27th is my day. October 27th is the day in which I fired myself from being an entrepreneur and hired myself as a CEO. It is literally, I quit the hustle and I began to manage, which changes a lot of the relationships. And I had to reintroduce myself in that way. I had to start saying no to a lot of things. I had a meeting today, somebody I've worked with for years at a certain rate. And I said, I'm sorry, sir. That service is no longer available here. Oh, well, I need you to do, It's no longer available. That was for the entrepreneur you hired 5 years ago. The CEO that is now available no longer offers that service. And you have to really stand in that so you can understand what your worth and your value is.
Yeah, that can be hard. That must have been, yeah.
Because sometimes you're hangry and you're like, how much you got?
Yeah.
I'll do that. You know what I mean? Like, because you got to pay the bill or you got to be able to figure it. And this is me being as honest, even as established as we are at This Is It Network. I'm going to be as honest with entrepreneurs as you can. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to go to the ATM and only have $20 and the balance is 20. I know what it's like to take from Peter to pay Paul. I know what it's like to show up and be like, okay, I'm only going to buy one cocktail here because that's all I got in my account. I know what it's like. All of those things are real. And so how we manage that, right, within our own most authentic self, I think it's important. I think a lot of people tell you the glory days of it and don't really tell you the hardships and the reality. They tell you that they slept in a car, but not how they got to the penthouse. And I think that combination that is really going to be impactful. So I'm here to do that today.
Thank you, because I'm sleeping on the couch. If that, I think I'm on the floor still, trying to come to the couch. But the kids are on the couch. They're like, Mom, this is my spot. So you got to go.
You got to go. And also, there's a lot of inconsistency in that. Sometimes you're in the bed, and the next thing you know, you're on the floor. And then
there you go.
All of the ups and downs of it, I think that make it difficult too.
Oh my goodness. So, okay. What role does digital information play in your business strategy? Like, especially with the rise of social media and online platforms, how do you stay updated with the latest trends and media development and market? Like, seriously, come on.
Absolutely. And first of all, you don't have to be on everything. You just have to tell people where you are. I think that there is this idea that you have to have 1 million followers to make $1 million, and that's not true. You have to have the right people paying attention to you in order for it to make sense. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to find friends and followers and all of the things and be intoxicated by the volume. but really be infatuated with the content and the quality. And I think that when we look at it that way, when we really hone in and we're just like, okay, who am I talking to and why? Because 5 followers could change your life as you are begging for 500. And so we need to really nurture versus going and grabbing. Nurture. Well, you have 5 followers right now, say please and thank you. Use your manners. Say, can you share this? Say, how are you doing? How can I help you? Right? Because now, and it's not necessarily social's fault. I mean, I think social media was an experiment, right? It was very much an experiment that we were like, okay, we were going to do this. And at the very beginning, it was you had 10 million followers, you made $10 million. It was just, the equation was that more is more. And then now that we've been really using the platforms, community is leading, right? Like building a community is leading. And so there's this tug and pull between dancing for the algorithm versus building your community.
Cheldin, I lost you.
Oh, you did. Okay, hold on one second. Oh, am I back?
Yeah, community is leading. Don't worry, my editor will get it. Community is leading.
Community is leading. And so instead of dancing for the algorithm, right, we're really leaning into building the community and saying, okay, can these 5 people give me 10 people? Can these 10 people give me 20 people? Can these 20 people give me 100 people, and so on? That allows for us to be really clear on how we build our strategy. So we're not just posting and praying, as I like to say. We're not just posting things out into the world and hoping people see it. We're literally inviting key people. We're speaking to personas. For us at This Is It Network, it's women between the ages of 30 and 55, a little younger, a little older. But when we create content, we're creating content to entertain and educate those people. So we're not just throwing things out just based on what the trends are, based on what, the algorithms are telling us to do. We're really doing it to serve. And that makes your content different. That makes what you're saying different. As opposed to trying to get a bunch of nameless followers, you're trying to build a community. And that is it feels different. It doesn't feel so useless. It doesn't feel as if you're screaming into a void. It feels like as if you are of, in fact, service. And so then the content becomes better, richer, worthy of attention for those who see it and for yourself. And so the digital information and how I use social media is solely as a tool, not as who I am. A lot of people say you're a YouTuber, you're a TikToker, you're all these things. I don't believe any of that exists. I believe you are a chef that uses TikTok. I believe you are a makeup artist that uses YouTube. I believe you are grounded in something, and these are just tools you use to share who you are, what you want, and why you deserve it.
Bam. That's it, people. That's like, bam. That's all you need to know. Okay, so how do you advise your clients to budget for marketing and branding efforts? 'Cause it's needed, right? Like right now, I would love to say, oh yes, this is what I want, but realistic, I know I'm not financially there yet, right? I need to get some more clients and get some more courses. But seriously, how do you advise your clients to budget for marketing and branding efforts, especially those just starting out?
For those, I say you spend nothing.
You
got no money? You got no money. Don't spend any money. Who's in your phone? Who is in your phone? I need you to get involved. I call it get a life. I need you to get involved in your space, right? I need you to go and be part of a conversation. Again, you are so tempted in the beginning. If you had resources, no problem. We can talk about what that looks like, but it's different for everyone. So I'm not going to say it's $100 a week. If you don't need to do it $100 a week because you're already part of these organizations. So these are things that I think that you should start with if you have no money or if you have limited budget. I would like for you to get involved and get a life. I would like for you to begin to have conversations online about people so people know what you are doing. I cannot tell you the amount of people who have not shared what they are doing and wondering why they have no money. People cannot buy what they cannot find. People can't buy what they do not know. So are you visible? Number one. Are you shareable? Number two. Now I know you. Now I see what it is that you're doing. Is the information accessible to me as a fan of you for me to share it on your behalf? Personal branding is what people say and think about you in your absence. That is personal. Do I have enough information to brag about you, Petra, in your absence? Do I have enough information to do that? And if you question that, then you're like, okay, I don't. I know people care about me. I know they like me. I know they love me. And this is from somebody who is grossly aggressive, right? I would talk to tons of people and they'd be like, I love her energy. I just want to work with her. They just didn't know how. I didn't give them any access or tools to how to work with me, how to compensate me. Do an audit of your website and your social. Is your contact information visible? Do you check the emails that are on the sites? Are you in your DMs at checking that information, right? If you have no money, are you using the tools that are already available to you? Or the little money you have, you're not using the tools that are available to you, and you're spending money and not still checking your DMs. It's foolish. So are you visible? Are you shareable? Then once you become visible and shareable, are you part of the conversation? So if you are in the fashion industry, I need you to begin to follow periodicals and organizations in the fashion industry. I need you to begin to comment for free on those industry periodicals and social platforms. I need you to be aware and visible. If they post it and there's no comments, be the first one, because there is someone managing that account on the other end of that brand that now sees and hears you, right? Nobody. But now you have gotten a life. You are now visible, right? And shareable. And now you are participating in your industry of choice. If you use LinkedIn, you see what other people are posting or part of in the conversations that they are part of. You align them with those global brands, those global media outlets, simply because they are participating in the conversation. Are you visible? Are you shareable? Are you participating in the conversation? Then if you have a small, decent amount of resource and dollars, I need you to join organizations and groups. If it's $19.99 a month, if it's $100 a year, I need you to work those organizations. I would rather you work those organizations than you boost a post, because there's real people in those organizations, real emails, real humans that are attending, participating. And not only can you get clients from those rooms, you are visible and shareable. Now those individuals, real people, see you and can share you. That's how I would have you start in a 3-prong approach. Are you visible? Are you shareable? Are you part of the conversation? Right? And all of that can be done online. Once you've done that, now I need you to get active and start joining at a nominal amount in a lot of cases, $19.99, $29.99. Join an organization based on who you are. So that's either geographic, that's based on industry, that's based on socioeconomics. I am all things. I am an African-American woman, an immigrant, a former Division I athlete, a mother, an entrepreneur. There are thousands of organizations and groups that cater to all that I naturally am. I need to find those organizations, find the right rooms, find my tribe and my people, and tell them what it is that I do. Because once you do that, you have an army of people speaking in your absence. And personal branding, again, is what people say and think about you in your absence.
Amen. Yes, I will be do some audit tonight. I'm going to tell my husband, honey, I'm going to make some ginger tea, go to bed. I got to do an audit tonight.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
What are some financial pitfalls? Well, I think I touched on that, but anything else you want to add to it that new entrepreneurs should avoid when investing in personal branding and media development? So you just went through all of that. Is there anything else that those pitfalls you see that they do over and over and over and over?
I think it's the overspend. And I also think it's the overspend without necessarily laying the foundation, right? Lay the foundation and then you can spend on top of it, because now the foundation is built. The way that I see it is you build your house. There's a foundation. There has to be that. And then personal branding is how you decorate the walls, right? It's all of the things, because you're going to change and evolve, but the house is going to stay the same. You're going to change the furniture and the wallpaper and redecorate and add things to the, paintings to the walls, but the foundation will be clear. So making sure that foundation is really good. And then the oversell. I always call it tell and not sell. right? We need to be good friends online. And we all know what it's like when we have a friend that only calls us when they need money.
Yes.
Or a friend that only calls us when they're moving for the 38th time.
Yes.
Can't find the phone when we have to move. You know what I'm saying? You know that
Yes.
friend, right? And so we need to be conscious of that. And a lot of times in social spaces, we're like, open house, buy now, buy one, get one. And we're constantly asking people to buy something without providing value on the other end of it. What happens to those conversations is just like in real life, we mute that person on that phone. We don't pick up when we see their name pop up. And so we don't want to be muted from the conversation because we seem needy. The relationship has to be mutually beneficial. So if you are a baker, then teach me about the stories about the recipes. Teach me about how to make something. Tell me where the chocolate chips are from before you ask me to buy a dozen. And so that allows for you to be part of their conversation and be seen as a resource versus only a source of a transaction. And I think that that's important. So just really making sure that you're having conversations online, that you're part of the conversations, that you're building that trust, that you're being a good friend, both online and off, to be able to tell and not sell constantly, I think is a really, at least.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So that comes to the end of no. That is great information. Okay, now let's get to the immigrant part. Okay, this is why I started my podcast. All right, I needed that information too. So, what is your migration story, and how has your cultural background influenced your approach to business and media? How? Come on, break it down for me. I want to know how you got here.
Yeah, well, listen, my father is a doctor of chemistry, and retired. My mother is a retired school principal. My father came, actually, we moved to Canada, Newfoundland, West Africans in the snow. We were in Newfoundland for a while. He was able to gain a position in Southern New Jersey at Stockton University, where he was the entirety of his career, and then retired. And so I was here since I was 5. So I was here very, very early in my life. But our culture was everything. The aunties, the food, the music, the clothes, everything. The foundation of my life is based on where I am from. And that comes truly from the ability to really battle adversity in a way that is seamless, or at least seems like it. Then I'll get to that. But very much this idea of arriving early and leaving late. Not being just the best woman in the room, the best woman of color in the room, but the best person in the room. Winning regardless of hurdles. And you will never see me sweat or complain. The quote that I've been living off of, especially now in the space, is that just because I carry it well doesn't mean it isn't heavy. And that is the space that is West African if it isn't anything, Freetown if it isn't anything, right? It's just the way. You just do, right? And so when you have that resilience in you, right, when others crumble, you still stand. And that is very much a part of who I am and how I was raised, and knowing that there's always a soft place to land, right? Even if I'm not a doctor, even if I'm not an engineer, even if I'm not any of these things.
The top one, like what you expect it to be. Yes.
Exactly. But I'm surrounded by ambition and scholars and resilience and people, who are underestimated but over deliver. And I think that that's just the nature of who it is that I am. And so there was really no choice but to succeed in this, especially if this is what I had chosen. And believe me, I was reminded that this was a choice. But there was no other way. There was no other way. And oftentimes in life, it's not the brightest. It's the person who's still standing. It's the person who has the most, perseverance in any particular situation and the willingness to learn along the way. So, not only the ability to be not only headstrong, but work hard, but also to be a forever student, to constantly be learning. There every day as an adjunct professor, I teach, again, personal branding and social media strategy. And, they had asked, what is the book? What is the text? They said, there's no book. I can't create a book for TikTok. By the time it's printed, we're off to the next thing, right? And so it's the understanding that the world keeps moving and keeps evolving, and those who are cemented in their thought process, cemented in what it is that they thought worked before, will be left behind. So a lot of people are concerned, like, what about the people who don't want to shift? Time will tell. But in the meantime, I'll keep moving.
I tell my son, he's 8, I said, talent. I said, heart beat talent any day. I tell him,
Anytime.
heart beat talent any day. I mean, I was like, look, honey, I said, I'm an immigrant. I came here, and there's a lot of people who had a lot of light years ahead of me. But I tell you, I outwork them any day.
Anytime. And I think that even, not to get into a deeper conversation, but a lot of people are concerned about AI, and AI has to come from somewhere. Right? The duplication has to come from it existing originally. Be the creator that is in fact duplicated, because that's where all of this is coming from. And there has to be a way that, the creation of things, the doing of things is celebrated. And that's just really what I would love to be able to see in all of this. Like, how do we work together? How do we continue to work? Those who want to, right? Because there's a lot of people that don't want to work. So we got to figure out, how do we rally together? And that's what the This Is It Network has really been. It's been a community of individuals who we allow for and encourage them to elevate their voices so they know that they're not alone. The ambitious do not seem crazy. The inspired do not seem alone. And it just really, we surround that. And so I believe being from Sierra Leone, being, an immigrant, being all of the things is defined me. To not make excuses, to carry the heavier load when others get tired. So.
Awesome. So how do you address and incorporate diversity and inclusion within your media content and marketing?
It is just organic for me, which is shocking, because what my community looks as if I curated it for a show, because it is that diverse. It looks so intentional. But I think when you have a welcoming energy, and this is a new thing that I've come to terms with, but when you have a welcoming energy and you can calm the Karens and elevate the Tamikas and and hug the Nancys and talk to the Kristens and, Fatima, and talk to all of the, like, when you can do that, that is a very unique skill set that I have. And not everyone has it. Not everybody wants it, truthfully. And not everybody needs it. But for me, I think that the way in which this world gets better is together. I think the best team is a diverse team. I think diversity is profitable and it is prosperous. And I think that if I can be part of that, if I can show that socioeconomics is and demographic is conversation starters, and that we are in fact more alike than we are different, but that doesn't happen until we sit together, until we are forced to kind of really, I didn't know that. A lot of aha moments, as Oprah would say. And I think that we need those opportunities more than ever. So it is a necessity for things to be diverse for me. It is a necessity.
As you were talking, I remember this poem by Tupac Shakur. I was in high school. Yeah. I was in an upper bound program at Fairfield University, and a bunch of us females are hanging out. We're mostly immigrants, right? Yes. You tend to stick to your own. Asians. Yes. It was a whole bunch of us immigrants. And it was a one-line poem. And it said, when will the world be at peace? When will the world be at peace? Mm-hmm. And the response was, when it falls into pieces. And I always remember that. I always look deep on that. I'm like, Tupac was deep. I don't know.
Yes. Because there is no, listen, but I think that when, and how I interpret that, again, in this quick moment of understanding, is that I think that we were always we were always told that we all needed to melt together. It's this melting pot, and it's not. Let me be who I am. Let you be who you are, right? Let me not be bothered by the existence and joy of others. Let me not be threatened by the accomplishments of anyone else. Yes. Let me be secure enough to give them a round of applause as I wait for them to applaud my accomplishments. Let us be a secure nation. And that, I think, is what we are missing, right? It is led with insecurity. It is led with scarcity. If I eat, that means you don't eat.
It's not true. It's not true.
Literally isn't true. And that is what is said by people who are scared, who want to control people by allowing for them to be scared. And
exactly.
If I can make you feel safe, if I can show you that if we split this bread, that we can all eat, or I can just go make more for the rest of us, then let's do that. And so we need just more of that. And I think that allows for me to celebrate. That allows for me to celebrate St. Patty's Day and Juneteenth in a way that makes sense. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Like, why can't that be the situation? And maybe that's optimistic and hopeful, but that's where I choose to live.
Good. Me too. You have to, as immigrants, we see things differently. I feel like we really do come from a different perspective, and especially my mom just teach us something different. And I just think we're great. But I
am a little biased. I just think what are we talking about? Like, what are we arguing about? Like,
I have no idea.
Like 2 years ago, it was snowing in Texas. Like, we got issues. Like, this isn't one of them.
Exactly. So have you faced cultural barriers in your career? And if so, how did you navigate them? What advice would you give to other immigrants aspiring to build their own dream, their own media marketing, whatever it is that they want to do? How would you help them out here?
It's very difficult. I think I've had a lot of conversations, and people disagree with me on this one, and in a lot of different ways. And so, but there's a lot of conversations about code switching, right? And like being in the room and changing your tone and changing your voice, and you know what I mean? Being in these boardrooms and all of these scenarios. And, I do a lot of presentations, young students, young African-American women will come up to me, or just young women of color in general, and be like, how do you do it? Like, how you in the rooms with these people? And it's, for me, because I've always grown up in predominantly white areas, and I've always been in a space where I've always been in diverse areas, but then always so grounded at home, right? So for me, my perspective has always been very, very clear that I needed to be fluent in whatever room I was in, right? I needed to be fluent. If I left right now and went to Paris, Olympics, if I went to Paris and I wanted to eat a baguette, I would learn how to say that in French in order to eat. So if you want to go into that boardroom and you want to eat, be fluent in that language. Until you can create your own boardroom in which you have your own language, be fluent in the language that feeds you. Be grounded in the language of your people. That's what I believe to be true. And that doesn't mean that, I have to be somebody else. If they have what you want, you need to speak the language in order to receive it. That doesn't mean that.
I lost you again, Rumer. Hello, Rumer?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. If they have what you want, start with that.
If they have what you want, you need to be fluent in the language in order to receive it. Period. You go to the counter in France, you ask for what you want to eat in the language in which you will be fed. That's it. That doesn't mean you are no longer American. That doesn't mean you are no longer African. That means that you are negotiating for space. Now that you are fed, you can go build your own room. Speak in whatever language you want. Wear whatever you want. Do whatever you want. And in the utopia in which we are describing, you will be given permission to be whatever you want. But if you walk into a space, right? If you walk into a space and you want from them, then you, instead of fighting them, create your own room, right? Once you have been fed in the room in which you are fluent. And that is all, for me, in this lifetime. In another lifetime, in the future lifetimes, in the lifetimes of my children, this may not be an issue. But in the reality of today, it is real. And so for those of us who, and I know that this is hard for a lot of us who are in the rooms, right? And I want to speak to that other side of it, right? Because there is a lot of us that are in the rooms And we fought to find the room. We fought to get into the room. We fought to stay in the room. We fought to thrive in the room. We get out of the room to take a breath, and we were told we didn't do enough in the room. And there is difficulty in that for us who are just fighting to find it, just fighting to stay in it, just fighting to thrive in it, right? And we have to battle that too, but that battle belongs to those who can carry the weight. It doesn't belong to all of us. And I raise my hand to say I'm able to carry the weight. I'll be on the other side and you can tell me.
I'm going to get a church wave. I'm going to get a church wave.
I can carry it. I can carry it. And you might not understand how hard it was in the room, but that's my purpose, is to make it easy for you to be in the room. So you don't have to, deal with the silent subtleties of what I've had to deal with in those rooms, right? So
yes.
You don't have to know. And so I think that it's that. So that goes back to, how do I navigate this multicultural? So it's difficult, but if there's something that I need in that space, I want to make sure that they hear and they see me clearly in a language in which they can understand.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sorry, sound words. Okay. So Scream Your Dream. Let's talk about it, right?
Yes.
Can you talk the Scream Your Dream mission and how it empowers women through personal and professional development? We love men too, but
yes, we do. We love them.
So, tell me about that.
Yeah. And so going back to the story of the client that lost their voice, right? Literally broke out in hives when they was asked, what makes your cookie different than someone else's? What makes your bracelet better than someone else's? And why should somebody purchase from you? I found it tragic, again, as an extrovert, as somebody who is loud for no reason, as somebody who's able to tell a story on a dime, right? Somebody who's give me the microphone and let me do the presentation. And so what I found was that so many people, and I use this quite a bit, so many people whisper their wishes when they should be screaming their dream. And there was a need to teach people how to find the words, teach people the practice of personal branding, how through repetition, right? How through acknowledging, just like a test that you study for if you go to school. If you've studied for a test, how do you feel?
Prepared.
Let me do this. Give me that number 2 pencil, that blue book, whatever the system is. I got this. How do you feel when you have not studied for a test? You start sweating in places that you shouldn't, looking at the clock, blaming your roommate's cat, doing all these kinds of things because you aren't prepared. When somebody asks you, hey, what do you do? Hubba-da, 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 you lose your voice. You're not prepared for the test. We're like, oh, okay, how much are your services? Well, you're not prepared for the test. You haven't studied for the test that is your life. If people cannot find you, they cannot purchase from you. If people are not clear on what you sell, they cannot purchase it from you. And so have you studied for your test? And so Scream Your Dream is literally that. It's meal prep so you're not hangry. It's orientation on yourself so you can go out into the floor and sell your product. You can't sell what you don't know. And the majority of us are walking around not knowing ourselves, but asking for ourselves to be promoted. If you don't know why you should be hired, how should someone else? So Screaming Your Dream is really a curriculum that gets you to know you. So it's easy for you to share it because you know it like your phone number. You know it like the answers on a test. So it's really
it's a program you purchase? Because I noticed I wanted to say it. I did my research, okay?
I have a boot camp that's available, which is a group session. I have one-on-one sessions that are a premium experience that you just get to work with me one-on-one, which is super fun. I go into corporations and I teach this to employees and employee resource groups. And then again, you can be a guest on the show and just get a little bit of energy and be able to share your products or service. So Scream Your Dream it is. It's a curriculum. It's a course. It's the ability for entrepreneurs and students to really understand how to use their voice to get closer to what it is that they want, especially because there are nothing but resources and digital platforms that are available, these tools that you can use when you have the right information at hand. And so
good.
Right, yeah.
Amazing. So I did come prepared to scream my dream. So I was like, I'm going to put my dream out there to Miss Rumer today, in hope in the future not in hope when I finish doing those prongs you gave me earlier to have the money that I need to get to where I want to go to get the work that I need to get done. Okay. So I want to have the number one podcast where immigrants can come to get the resources that they need. And I want to help immigrants and their families, first and second generation, be financially stable to take care of home and abroad. That's my dream.
I think we're close to it. And I'll do everything in my power to make sure that happens.
Thank you. We need this.
And there's a beauty in what we bring, the uniqueness that we bring to the table in any nation, right? As we move through this world. And like, that's how it works in the most positive of ways, right? And to be able to do that and be able to bring who we are to it, it just tastes better. It just looks better. It heals us better. And that's the world that I want to live in where we can learn continuously and appreciate us all. And through the art of storytelling like you're doing now, we're all getting closer to it. So I am a big fan, and anything I can do to help, I would definitely will be there.
Thank you. So I always ask my guests this at the end of the show, right? Yeah. So what is one saying or parable that your parents or family member always say growing up that teach you your lesson? Like, what's one thing they always say to you?
Oh my gosh. Ooh, you can't. Stop going to this, my mother. Stop going to the same well looking for different water. Stop going to the same well looking. Stop asking these people, which in essence to me is, stop taking advice from people who have never been on the journey. Stop asking for directions from people who have never been there, right? We always are auditioning for people who will never be our customer. Why does my best friend not like my post? She would never buy your stuff anyway. And like, let it be that thing. I have darling friends, my best friends. They're not necessarily they're not entrepreneurs. So to be fixated on people, it's because it's the same energy. To focus on people who will never be your customer versus nurturing people who will, it's the same energy. How do you want to spend your time? Stop going to the same well looking for different water. Stop begging these people to pay attention to you. Stop pretending that the answer will not be the same, because it's the definition of insanity doing the same thing.
Yeah. The water's the same water, people. It's the same water.
Find a different well. Find a different well.
If you want smart water, go buy smart water. But this is the same well water that you had yesterday.
Yes. Filtered water, please.
Where can they find you, Miss Rumer? Where can they find you if they want to reach you?
Yes, everything at This Is It TV. You can follow, fan, and like us there. Everywhere you find at This Is It TV. Log on to thisisItTV.com, and all of our latest episodes can be found at thisisit.tv. So everything This Is It TV is the best place to find me, for sure.
I am so excited that you're able to make it to our show today. I know the audience got a lot from it, because I got a lot from it. So, oh my goodness, I knew it was going to be an amazing show. So I'm so happy you're here. But remember, people, until next time, remember, keep your money IRA.
I love it. Thank you.